Pook, is everything all right? You've been gone for quite some time. I hope you're not in too much trouble with your CO.
Matthias? Nah, he's just got me on shit duty until my big mission comes up. A mission he felt was so important, he was willing to get Handfist stabbed just to call me back to duty.
What's the mission?
The Pook does not have clue one. Right now I'm in the hurry up and wait stage of a new mission. I'm sorry to have kept you waiting so long, Kami.
And your Uncle G?
Same old, I'm afraid. He just sits there and stares at the fire. And he burns everything I bring him.
Oh, I'm very sorry to hear that, Pook. But as for your concerns about making me wait, well, don't give it a second thought. I've been having an absolutely delightful time with Hamfist here in the Lamb. I can't believe I'm actually in Stormwind.
So what's your plan now, Kami?
Well, oh dear, I don't know.
Well, don't worry, Kami. We'll figure it out.
I spent my entire life dreaming about getting to Stormwind.
We got this, Kami.
It seemed like such an impossible, nay, foolish dream. I didn't think about what I would do if that dream came true.
Well, I guess we'll just have to tackle that now then, won't we?
How do I find out who to talk to about getting acting jobs? Where will I find work? I know no one here. Where will I sleep? I don't have a job, let alone an apartment. Oh, I'm doomed.
Hey! We got this, Kami. You can stay with me in Hook Point. Matthias, he's reinstated my access to the portals between Borealis and Stormwind. It makes it easier for him to punish me with shit duty. Handfist and I can bring you back and forth, and we'll figure out the rest as we go along.
Oh, I can't thank you enough, Pook. I am sincerely grateful for your friendship. I can't believe it. I'm finally in Stormwind. At long last, I'm so very far away from that old ratchet town.
Well, look at you there now, eh? You only just arrived in Stormwind, and already you're friends with two people what works here.
Here in Stormwind, being entertained by a Kultiran telling me stories about a gnome.
What the hell, Handfist? You've been telling Kami stories about me?
Well, I know more stories about you than I know about me. I was just about to tell him about that time you got that flute from that feller there in Pandaria.
Seriously, Handfist?
A fellow in Pandaria?
Yeah, he's an immortal named Moldo, or Moldy, or Mulva. He lives in the Kunlai Summit.
Right, and this Moldo guy, eh? He's got a magic flute, and our CO, Matthias, well, he wants the flute. So who does he send to go get it? Well, he sends the Pook.
He thought it would help me with the rogue booping program.
Rogue booping program?
It's not important.
It sounds rather curious for something that's not important.
The friggin' flute, eh? It's supposed to let you talk to the animals. So, Matthias, he's thinking that, being able to talk to the rats and the squirrels and find out from them what rogues they see running around the city acting like a bunch of friggin' dildos, well, that's got to make the rogue booping program that much more effective.
I still don't know what the rogue booping program is.
That's not important. So what he does, right, is he sends me all the way to Pandaria to get the flute from the guy. But it turns out the flute, it was a big bust.
Right. It doesn't let you talk to the animals at all, does it, Pook?
No, it just makes critters follow you around.
And Pook, how many times did you have to stab that Moldo fella before he finally gave you the damn thing?
I don't know. A lot. He did not want to give me the flute. Look, Kami, Matthias has me on rogue booping duty right now. It's getting pretty late, but what say I take you with me on my first round? I'll give you a tour of the city, and then Handfist can get you to my room in the inn, and you can get a good night's sleep. I'll see you in the morning when I get back.
Pook, you didn't tell him the best part of the flute story.
I told him the whole story. Matthias was wrong about something. He was as wrong about the magic flute as he is when he sends 4 of us into the seething shore when the horde sends 8. Dang it, Matthias! I learned to count to 10!
No. The best part, is Matthias. He lets the Pook keep the flute, and so she tries to figure out a way to make money with it.
That's very entrepreneurial of you, Pook.
Thank you, Kami. Now the Pook should really start her rounds. Those rogues aren't going to boop themselves.
So the Pook, she hears the saying, Goldshire is the town what never sleeps. And that little gnomish brain of hers, it starts to come up with a plan.
Yep, and it didn't work. The sooner I start my rounds, the sooner you can get to Hook Point and get to bed. Oh, you must be getting really sleepy now, Kami.
Well, it has been a long day that started with me waking up in Gadget-san and will end with me slumbering in Hook Point by way of Stormwind.
So it's just a saying, but she takes it literally. She thought it meant that the people there suffer from insomnia.
Yes, I did. You long-leggeties have a lot of sayings the Pook struggles with from time to time. Let's say we get this first round of rogue booping duty under our belts, so you can be heading to the bedding, Kami.
So she uses the flute on her uncle's sheep, and she takes the whole friggin' flock down to Goldshire. Now, her plan is to rent the sheep out to the people who can't sleep. They count the sheep, and then they fall asleep, and the Pook, she charges them per sheep counted. She tells them it's way cheaper than, buying your own sheep to count, and she actually manages to get a few customers.
Did it work? Were you able to help people fall asleep?
Yes, but unfortunately, once they fall asleep, they can't exactly pay you for your services. And the long-leggeties, they get really angry if you wake them up to ask for the money that they owe you. And the guards, they get really angry if you put your hands into sleeping people's pockets to collect the payment for yourself.
Plus, most of the people in Goldshire, when they rent a sheep, they're not looking to count it.
They most certainly do not. And the Pook had no desire to be known as the sheep pimp of Goldshire. Now, if we finished with the embarrassing the Pook duty, what say we get on with our rogue booping duty?
Where you lead, Pook, I shall follow.
So one of the problems with a big population center like Stormwind is it attracts a lot of attention from horde gankers.
Yeah, them stealthy classes in particular are a real bunch of friggin' dildos, Them rogues and druids and them other sneaky lads.
So Matthias, he sends me on patrol around the city looking for stealthies. When I find one, I boop them on the nose. If they stab me, then the Pook knows they're up to no good. And if they don't stab the Pook, then the Pook doesn't really care what they're up to, and I let them go about their business.
If they stab you?
Yeah, a surprisingly large amount of the work the Pook has to do for the Alliance Militia for low-level immortals.
The AMLLI. The word 4 isn't important enough to get its own initial.
A surprisingly large amount of that work
You can call it the AMLI.
requires stabbing, either of or by the Pook.
Look, I'm going to go get my drink on at the Lamb, I'll catch up with you at the Mage Tower later.
Come on, Kami. I'll show you the park.
By my grandfather's feathers! This is remarkable. I've never seen anything like it in my entire life.
Yeah, it's a pretty chill place. The long-leggeties love to chill here, unwind, listen to music, or catch up on some of the latest gossip. There are sometimes stealthies in here, and it's not too uncommon to find a horde rogue who is up to no good.
Is it a dangerous place?
No more dangerous than any other place on the planet that once got stabbed by a cosmic space giant with a really big sword.
Point taken.
Come on, Kami. I want to introduce you to my druid friend Heraldi. He's one of the many night elf druids the Pook gets night elf weed from. And he's the only druid I know that has achieved seagull form.
Seagull form?
Yeah, it's one of the hardest druidic forms to achieve. It requires being highly druided with nature magic or something. I don't really know that much about magic. I mostly know about the 3 S's. Stealthing, stealing, and stabbing. Come on, let's go. You're gonna love him.
The view of the harbor, it's spectacular.
Don't I know it? Whether it's watching a sunset or a moonrise, or just being fucked up on inky plaque, the Pook loves to drop by and take in some of the scenery with Heraldi.
And the level of horde activity, is this a place where the stealth classes often lurk?
This is a spot that's really popular with lovers. You see a lot of elves here with worgans. I don't know if it's the fact that they share a cultural bond as people who are refugees from their homeland, or if it's just the knot. A lot of the times the stealthies you find here might be jealous or jilted lovers. Sometimes, though, they're just perverts who like to watch. Oh, I once saw some pretty elf boys here getting kissy with each other. It was pretty hot. Every now and then, though, the Pook will get stabbed by a horde rogue.
Oh dear, that sounds quite dreadful. The stabbing part, and not the elf boys getting kissy part.
Yeah, but the occasional ganking is an acceptable risk when it comes to watching elf boys get kissy. And luckily we're pretty close to the graveyard. Speaking of which, that's our next stop. It was great seeing you again, Heraldi. Come on, Kami. Let's go check out the boneyard. This is the entrance to the graveyard. If shit ever gets stabby while you're in Stormwind and you don't feel safe waiting by the Pook's corpse, come and wait for me here. Once I've finished dealing with the horde drama, I'll come here and get ya.
Understood.
There's an outdoor chapel just up that hill that is sometimes used as a performance space. You might be able to find out something about the Stormwind theater community up there.
Well, that sounds wonderful. I still can't believe this all isn't just a dream.
When I do my rounds here, I try to be respectful. Sometimes the stealthies here are mourning someone who is very important to them, but they don't feel comfortable letting anyone see them mourn.
I suppose that one of the upsides to being immortal is not worrying about having mourners.
If I had true immortality, I suppose it would be. My cursed form of immortality just means that my death is a fixed point in time, and I can't do anything about it. If I die before that point in time arrives, well, I just have to come back to life.
Does it bother you knowing that your death is an event of fate chiseled into the granite of time?
Nah. Maybe everybody's death is predetermined, and most people are just lucky enough not to die before they reach that moment. The Pook just got there a little too early, I guess.
But I never thought of it that way. I think I'd rather not find out if my fate is predestined until, the moment is at hand.
This is the normal Leggedy district. Not that you won't find long Leggedy's here, too. There's an entrance to the Deep Run tram station, and there's a lot of dwarven and gnomish craftsmen here.
What is that smell?
That is the smell of dwarven industry and gnomish ingenuity. Basically a lot of metal being smelted and a few wires being melted. And down that way is the Embassy District. There's a lot of people who are low level on the danger scale hanging out down there. Sometimes I'll just chill there and talk with them. The people who rank higher than level 30 on the danger scale, they usually don't have time to talk to the Pook. Because of all the lobies around here, you don't often get a lot of gankers.
And why is that?
Because even people who don't like puppies don't want to be known as a puppy kicker.
Ah, yes, I see your point.
Come on, Kami. There's still a lot of the city left to see. This is Old Town. It's supposedly the roughest neighborhood in Stormwind, but compared to some of the neighborhoods in Boralis, it seems pretty gentrified to me.
Is Boralis dangerous?
Well, there's some Ashenvale douchebags down by the docks, and parts of Dampwick can be kind of rough, but it's nothing that you can't navigate safely as Blackcraw McGillicuddy, as long as you've got the Pook or Hamfist by your side.
And Old Town?
As long as there's no gankers lurking about, Old Town is probably pretty safe.
Probably?
Probably. The SI-7 headquarters are nearby, so there's a lot of high-level immortals in the area that do nothing but practice stabbing, zapping, shooting, and stabbing horde-shaped targets all day. If a ganker is in the mood for a bit of the old fucking around, well then Old Town is a pretty good place to come get some of the finding out.
I can't believe just how large this city is. I always knew that Ratchet was a small port town, but I truly had no idea how small until I saw Stormwind.
There's still a lot of the city left to see. Come on, Kami, we should continue with our tour.
By the great grandfeathers, I've never seen so much activity all in one place.
This is the trade district, and it is a silly place. It's the bustling heart of Stormwind, and a hot spot for horde infiltration. The area between here and the trading post is some prime ganking real estate.
Yes, I see. Very lovely, yes. I am feeling quite a bit fatigued now. What say we move this tour along? The idea of getting to Hook Point and turning in for the day is really starting to appeal to me.
Okie dokie. Let's get you to the portal tower in the Mage District.
So, did you give our new friend here a grand tour of the city?
Yeah, I showed him most of it. I didn't get around to the Cathedral District, but I figure you'll probably get around to showing it to him sooner or later.
So what do you think about it, Commodore?
It's so much more than I ever imagined it could be. I can't wait to explore it more after a good night's rest.
That's your cue, Hamfist. Escort Kami to my room in Hook Point while I finish up with the night's shit duty.
Right, then let me get our friend to bed safe and sound, and we'll see you in the morning, Pook.
Thank you so very much for showing me around Stormwind, Pook, and thank you very much for getting me here. The day I met you in Ratchet was truly the luckiest day of my life.
Not a problem, Kami. Stick close to Hamfist and follow his lead. He'll let you know if and when you need to unleash Captain Blackcraw. And Hamfist...
What is it, Pook?
What do you do if things turn stabby while you're escorting Kami?
I'll fucking smite the friggin' dildo like a friggin' hand of an angry god. That's what I'll fucking do. Sure as my name is Hammond Stormfist.
No, you focus on keeping Kami safe and getting him out of trouble immediately.
I hears ya, Pook. I hears ya.
I'm serious, Hamfist. I'm going to count Kami's feathers when I get home. And if any are missing, what's going to happen to the priest?
The Pook is gonna try to send the priest to the naked lady.
The Pook is going to send the priest to the naked lady.
Probably.
Definitely.